Hi, I'm Jacques, and this is ten-to-inkish with David van Driessche, CTO of FourPees. And we're talking printing industry again. Welcome. So, hi, David, great to see you. And
Hi,
welcome.
glad to be here.
Yeah, welcome to this episode of ten-to-inkish. And we'll be talking about web to print. But before we talk about this, maybe give us a little introduction on who is David and on your company FourPees.
Sure. So my name is David. As you said, I'm the CTO of FourPees, which means I get involved in all the technical stuff. FourPees can be best described perhaps as a value-added distributor of software for prepress mainly and an integrator. So we do product sales, but we also do projects and get involved with that. I have about 25 years experience in the industry, worked at companies like Enfocus, Gradual, and I've been with FourPees for the last 10 years.
Wow, impressive, but fantastic. We'll get into that a bit maybe later on as well. But as you know, in this ten-to-inkish episode, we asked you to bring like a little video clip on the topic of the day, which is web to print, and a bit on how you see things with FourPees. But I propose that we have a look at the video clip, and then we'll get some questions and answers afterwards. So let's roll it.
Nowadays, everyone has a web to print system. But does that mean that you need one as well? Part of that question stems from the name web to print. That seems to imply that this is nothing but yet another sales channel you will have to manage. But there are, of course, many other reasons why web to print could be interesting for you. The first reason is a bit ironic. Web to print obviously happens on the World Wide Web. Yet web to print systems are ideal to allow local consumers to buy from the company around the corner. There is certainly a trend that consumers want to buy locally, but that doesn't mean they want to get off their couch. A web to print system allows them to buy locally while not sacrificing convenience. The second reason web to print can be a real asset is that it's a really patient system. It will allow your clients to explore everything you have to offer in any exotic combination they might think of. And you only get involved when there is a real order that is placed. In many of the projects we get involved in, the main reason for buying a web to print system is this reduction of administrative overhead. Let's also talk about relationships. The relationship between you and your most important customers. A good web to print system can set up closed shops for those customers with their preferences, their shipment methods, payment methods, their collection of products, and of course, their prices. Again, a way to reduce your administrative overhead, but at the same time, strengthen your relationship with those customers. Of course, there are many other reasons why web to print could be interesting for you. It should be clear by now, though, that it's not just another sales channel. And so, do you need to buy a web to print system because everyone else has one? Of course not. But it would be wise to consider web to print and to see what it can do for your business.
Do a lot of printers look for web to print now? Is it a hot topic?
I think it is. When we look at the printers we deal with, there are largely two categories: those who already had something and those who had nothing. The ones who already have something, in many cases, it's because they have something built into their workflow system or something that comes with their workflows or MIS or ERP system. But we see interest from both groups. And I think that has to do with the current times, the fact that we have this pandemic going on for quite a while makes people look at other ways to sell their products. But it also has to do with personalization. I think that is a major driver. Today, you can get kitchen cabinets with custom pictures on it, or light switches, or wallpaper. And all these things have to be created in an efficient way, and a web-to-print system is a really good way to do that. So yeah, lots of interest at the moment.
Is something holding printers back from taking advantage of web-to-print?
Maybe mostly psychological ones, I'd say. I think that perceived difficulty is a major one. The fact that if people think about web-to-print, they think it's going to take a very long time to implement, it's going to be really difficult, and it's going to cost them an arm and a leg. And that really doesn't have to be the case. There are many options on the market that they could go for. And of course, the fact that there are so many options by itself is also a bit of a problem, because you have to find what really fits your company. And maybe another thing is that, and this is something that we see with automation as well, is that people think that if they go to web-to-print, they have to go 100%. It has to do everything. And that is typically not a good way to think about such projects. If you can get 80% of your products through a web-to-print system in a good way, that's going to make a major difference already.
Does company size matter? Is this only something for large printers then?
Yeah, I don't think so. That's not what we see at all. In a way, it is opposite, perhaps. If you have a large organization, you can deal with much more overhead and administration and so on. If you only have 5 people in your shop, then the fact that customers come and ask for offers and stuff like that, it creates a lot more overhead. So a web-to-print system, if you think of it as a way to reduce overhead and get offers in products in a more structured way, can be a huge asset even to a small shop. So not at all, I believe.
Any recommendations for printers based on your experience?
Be realistic. I think that's probably the number one. If you install a web-to-print system today, your revenue is not going to double overnight. And it's probably not going to double in the next month or in the next year. It is just an additional sales channel that you add. I think you need to look at such an investment to go for web-to-print with a realistic mindset. And take into account that you don't do this necessarily to double or triple your order volume the next 6 months. You do it because it is a great way to reduce overhead. It's a great way to use, to start with standardization, and standardization leads to easier automation in the rest of the shop. So it's great from that point of view, but don't think it is going to handle 100% of your business. It is not, and if you think that, then you're going to be disappointed at the end. So remain realistic, I would say.
Yeah, well, that's certainly good advice. Thank you for your insights on this topic, and I do love your slogan. I read somewhere it's more output, less hassle. So I think we have to remember that, as you said, well, it's not just another sales channel. It has to fit your company, your size, and of course your budget. So thank you for your great insights. For anyone, of course, who's looking on the details and wants some more information on you, David, or your company, FourPees, they'll find it in the contact page and description below of the ten-to-inkish webpage. So thank you, David, and also, of course, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.